Well, hey there, welcome to Hiker Homily number 57. And we're going to talk on a subject that a lot of people, a few through hikers before their big trips have talked about it, but most don't talk about this kind of a subject. Maybe because it makes them uncomfortable, maybe because they've let their ego get in the way, because a lot of people just feel like, oh, nothing's going to happen to me. I'm an invincible hiker on the trail. There's just all kinds of reasons why people probably don't talk about this subject. But in all the prep videos, I'm doing some myself, showing the gear that I'm going to be using and the training that I'm doing to get myself ready for the trail. And I've even done a couple videos, on some of the physical challenges I think I'm going to face, the mental challenges I'm going to face, and things like that. But one thing that often gets kind of left out is some of the little things that you probably should do before leaving for the trail as a kind of a safety kind of thing, to be kind of, not trying to be dramatic or anything, but through hiking is considered by some to be an extreme sport or an extreme hobby. Because it can be dangerous. People do die or go missing on this trail. I'm going to put up a picture here. This is Chris Fowler. His trail name is Sherpa. And he's been missing since 2016. He was, just like many of us, excited to get on the trail, headed off, had a great trip. Left, I believe he left sometime in either April or May of 2016, and by October had reached Washington and disappeared. No one knows what happened, where he's at. His body has not been found to this day. And I'm reminded of it because his mother recently posted on the Pacific Crest Trail group, the 2019 class of 2019 group, on Facebook. And she's an amazing woman and quite a strong woman to do what she's doing. But she posted some things that make perfect sense, and some of the things I've already said for different hiker homilies and things like that. Being a Boy Scout mentor for many years and things, be prepared is it's not just some goofy slogan that we make kids repeat. There's a reason why that's the slogan, because being prepared is a huge safety thing. And it can prevent, being prepared can prevent so many things, but there's many different ways of being prepared. So some of the things I'm going to talk about, whether it makes you uncomfortable or not, or whether you have a knee-jerk reaction of, oh, I don't need to conform to anybody's rules because I'm just that freaking cool. Whatever, be what you're going to be. But for the people who are smart enough to hear what I'm saying and the reason behind me saying it, then good on you, and here we go. But some of the things that a lot of times don't get talked about, that if you're going to go on this is good for any backpack trip, and I'm kind of combining this with my PCT prep and as a hiker homily, because as a through hiker, yes, this is very important to do these kinds of things, but on any backpack trip, this is the kind of thing you really should do for a safety thing. Number one, we have these things now. And yes, some of them can cost a pretty penny, some of them not so much. It depends on the kind of amenities you want. But we have emergency locator beacons now that are available. I am not endorsed by any specific company, and I have no sponsorships and things like that. I myself will be carrying the Garmin InReach SE on the Pacific Crest Trail. A lot of people use the SE or the Explorer Plus on the Pacific Crest Trail. Essentially, they're the same machine, that just one comes with a couple extra little amenities that I decided I didn't necessarily need. But other than that, they're identical. And the main reason I have decided to carry it, as I said, or will be saying in other videos for my PCT stuff, is it is one of the few who not just has the emergency locator beacon function, but it has lots of other neat functions too, including the fact that I can get a hold of my wife, my family, and things like that on it, even when I'm way out in the middle of nowhere and there's absolutely no cell coverage. Because it is satellite, I can get messages out. Okay? Now, if you don't have the means, or for whatever reason the inclination to get one of those when you're backpacking or doing a long through hike, okay, fine. Here are some of the things you can do that can at least help. If anything goes wrong, help get to you before it's too late. Or in the worst case scenario, at least get recovery of your remains for your family who are going to need that kind of closure. All right? Again, I told you it's not a comfortable subject, but it's a subject that goes part and parcel with through hiking and backpacking in the backcountry. Things can go wrong. Things have gone wrong for hikers and things like that. And even if you want to play the anecdotal game, I've done it for this many years and never had trouble. Okay, great. That means exactly squat for the next time you go out. Okay, because there's plenty of hikers that have hiked for decades, never had a single problem, and then the last time they went out, there was a bad enough problem that they never went out again. They didn't come back, in fact. Okay, so it can happen. So why not be prepared? Yeah, I know. All right, so if you're not going to do the emergency locator beacon, then at the very least you should have someone in your life, I hope, that you trust and you can leave an itinerary with, even if it's a basic one. Because for through hiking, I mean, an itinerary that you set up, it's going to be within the second day. It's probably going to have changed. You either didn't get as far as you had hoped, or maybe you went further than you thought, or whatever. Things are going to change, but a basic frame of here's kind of what I'm going for always helps. I myself, I'm leaving an itinerary with my wife, but I'll get into other things too that you know, why she probably won't ever have to use that. But just in case, I'm still going to print out an itinerary for me, an itinerary for her, and then, you know, when that itinerary completely changes, I'll have communication with her and let her know, hey, I was supposed to do this many miles today, but I actually did this many. So here's what's going on with that. Things like that. So leave a basic itinerary and make sure that your loved ones or your friends have some basic information. And here's where some people get all rankled about it, and I don't know why. The first one is not a big deal. Hiker society, we kind of have a different little group sometimes, and we have things like trail names. And so there's a good chance that if you walk on the trail and, hey, you guys seen Todd around, well, who the heck is Todd? Oh, well, he was a hiker who was on the Pacific Crest Trail, and we haven't seen him for a while. Oh, I don't know any Todd. Oh, well, his trail name's Glacier. Oh, Glacier, yeah. Yeah, we saw him 2 days ago. He was headed into such and such, okay? Some folks might only know you by your trail name, so make sure your family know what your trail name is. That way they can add that if they have to send messages out saying, hey, we're looking for so-and-so. Adding the trail name will help. Make sure they have pictures or at least a description of the type of gear you're carrying, because if you call search and rescue and hey, we're looking, that's one of the first things they're gonna ask you is, okay, what kind of backpack did he carry? Is he carrying? What kind of clothing is he wearing? Blah blah blah. Okay. Again, my loved ones, my wife, are gonna have all of that and things like that. What kind of navigation tools are you using? Is he using the Gut Hook app? Is she using half-mile maps? That kind of information helps search and rescue figure out how you were navigating, because then they can tell, okay, if they had this detail, they may have done this kind of detail. Oh, they may have not known about this and so have gone this way. It helps, okay? Basic things like that. And here's one that rankles some people for whatever reason. I've seen it online. People freak out. Leave your basic information as far as your account passwords, access to your phone, things like that. I hope that you have someone in your life that you are at that level of trust with. I really do. If you don't, I'm so sorry. I wish the best for you. Personally, I've been married to my wife for 27, almost 28 years. I have no reason to keep any secrets from her, and there is nothing on my phone that I am worried about her finding. So she has full access to it. My phone is one of those ones where you can use a thumb or a fingerprint to access, and I have programmed her fingerprint to get into it. And I will also be leaving her the number code just in case she needs it. This not only helps in case the phone is found and they can have access to it to see what was the last ping I had or things like that, but having that kind of code can help search and rescue do a computer check, and maybe they can activate your phone remotely, try and figure out its location, do different things like that. They should be able to get into your phone. If you don't have someone in your life that you can trust that much, if you have a significant other and you can't trust them with your phone password, then maybe you should check your relationship status a little bit better and figure out what's going on there. I'm not here to judge. I'm just saying that's, wow. If you're married to somebody or in a really good relationship with somebody and you can't trust them with access to your phone, hey, I don't know what's going on there. But any kind of account information and things like that, they need to be able to access that kind of stuff to help. It could end up helping with your location, or if the worst happens, clearing up all the issues that have to be cleared up. Next, make a contact plan. And what that means is, hey, I intend to make sure I contact you every 2 days. If you have not heard from me on the third day, there's a problem. Or if you haven't heard from me for a whole week, there's a problem. And then you should start worrying and maybe contact authorities. That is a contact plan. For my wife and I, because I am using the SE, she will be tracking my progress, and so she will know something is wrong if, hey, this was not a 0 day, and on a 0 day it's usually going to be in town. I'll be able to contact her on my phone or something like that and stuff like that. This wasn't a 0 day. He was in the middle of nowhere and his little dot hasn't moved all day long. That's kind of odd. So she will be able to try and send me a message to my Garmin Explorer. Excuse me. And hopefully I'll be able to answer and say, oh, yeah, I was really tired, or my back hurt today, so I decided to heck with it. I'm going to take a 0 out here on the trail because I'm kind of near a pretty lake, so I decided to heck with it. I'm going to enjoy this day here, and things like that. I should have told you, honey, I'm so sorry. Something like that, okay? Now, if you don't have the ability to contact, then you're going to have to set something up with your loved ones or your family that is some kind of a plan. Start worrying if you haven't heard from me this long, okay? Because time is of the essence. If you are hurt out in the back country and cannot get to supplies or something like that, the difference between 2 days and 4 days could be the difference between being rescued or dying of hydration or something like that, of dehydration or something like that. Okay, so just basic stuff like that. And the big thing is put your ego away. You're not invincible, and just because you've done this much backpacking and never had a problem ever doesn't mean that it will never happen. And so put your ego away and be prepared and do some of these things to help. Okay? It's basic stuff. It really is. It's not like we're asking you to turn over any kind of state secrets or anything else like that. Just basic things. If you're worried about people having your passcodes, then put them in a sealed envelope. And then when you get back from the trip, if it looks like the envelope's been tampered with or opened, well, then you can just change your passwords. Okay? But by the time you get back, no big deal. You can go ahead and change those things. But if anything happens while they're out there, they will need that information. So I just wanted to kind of put that out there. I wanted to try and keep it brief and not be a downer or anything like that. But in memory of some of the folks who are lost out there and their families don't have that closure because, it's been long enough that, yeah, the worst has probably happened, but we don't even have closure because we have no remains to inter or anything like that. Any of these things could have helped that family get closure, or maybe even help prevent the need for closure who knows, maybe rescue would have been possible with this kind of information. So something to think about. I know it's uncomfortable, but it's the kind of thing that doesn't get talked about a lot. But it's one of those things that really should be talked about a lot. Unfortunately, the folks who need this advice and need to follow this advice the most are typically the ones who won't. They're the ones who are either arrogant or ignorant, or just decide that they just there's nothing, you can't tell me what to do. I refuse to follow society's rules. There's nothing I can do about that, or anybody else can do about that. But for those of you, like I said at the beginning, for those of you with the wisdom and intelligence to understand what this is all about, and that this has nothing to do with society's rules or conforming or any of that kind of stuff, and it's just basically just smart, just in case type of safety stuff, then I hope the advice helped you. And that's about it. As always, thank you very much for watching. And as I said in my last gear video, I'm about 3 weeks from hitting the trail myself. And I am very excited about it. A little bit of nervous, but I don't think it's quite hit me yet for nerves. I don't think it actually hit me until I'm standing there in front of that monument in the desert when I'm starting. So we'll see then. It's just been kind of the way I am with nerves. But other than that, I hope this was informative. If you have any comments on this, for whatever reason, if you have some kind of different take on it, that you think people shouldn't do these basic preparation things, if you can do it respectfully and non-ignorantly, by all means, let me know. Any other types of comments, they're always welcome. Comments below or on Patreon, Instagram. Go ahead and let me know there. Also by email if you want to, hikingforhealthca@gmail.com. And other than that, that's Hiker Homily number 47. And as always, thanks for watching, and we will see you next time.